Greetings, this is Paul the Poke from paulthepoke.com. Today's topic, will Turkey align with Russia? And this is an article, joint article featuring Michael Duville and myself. Now, the bulk of the economic data and the guts of that's going to come from Michael. What we're going to look at, is the Ezekiel 38:39 prophecy, where at some point in the future, Russian friends are prophesied to invade Israel from the north. And I'm going to read all of Ezekiel 38:1-3 and Ezekiel 38:6, but the focus are on the terms Gog, Magog, Meshech, Tubal, Gomer, Beth Dagarman. Those are ancient names. And how do they correlate to modern day countries? So the brothers of Magog, Meshech, Gomer, and Tubal appear to point to modern day Turkey. So if you're interested in that, here's a link to godinanutshell.com. Ezekiel 38, who are Meshech, Tubal, Gomer, Beth Dagarma, points to modern day Turkey. You can click on that link, look at it if you want the details of that. That's an article that was posted by myself, back in August of 2017. And then if you want to look at modern day Russia, Magog and Gog the leader, same thing back in August 2017. Who is Magog? You can click on that link. Now, the thing that kind of seals the deal for me, along with the stuff that's in the article, not that ancient history has anything to do with it, tongue-in-cheek there for you folks. Russians, modern day 21st century Russians, refer to themselves as ancient Scythians. And you can click on this link, and I'm going to go to it. And this is out of Sputnik News from Russia, issued the following statement about Scythian artifacts in history. And they had a collection from the Russia's Hermitage Museum. It was released to London for exhibition. And the quote, Scythians, powerful nomadic tribes from Siberia. So this is stuff that had stayed in Russia for a long time. And these articles and these artifacts have been preserved by Siberia's ice, snow, and permafrost. Now, these are Russians talking about Scythians, and the Russians identify with Scythians, groups of formidable warriors that roamed the vast open plains of modern-day Siberia 2,500 years ago, stretched as far as the Black Sea, even the edge of China, which, if you look at the Bible, straight north of Jerusalem and Israel, the Black Sea. Scythians' encounters with Greeks, Assyrians, and Persians, written into history, feared and admired masters of mounted warfare, were forgotten over time until now, until they found this stuff frozen in the ice. Some of this stuff melted. There it was. Russian news story is identifying Scythians as Siberian Russians. Ancient historians consistently equate Scythians with Magog. Modern day Russia equals Scythians equal Magog. And that's Russians. That has nothing to do with the Bible. So I know lots of folks out there would like to say, oh, you're twisting the facts, blah, 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 whatever. Russians are identifying themselves with ancient Scythians, ancient Magogians. So now to get to the guts of the story, economically, this is how this stuff is affecting our world today. And this is from Michael Duville. No presidential decree from Turkey's de facto ruler will stop the lira's decline against the U.S. dollar. And the U.S. dollar is cycling higher as uncertainty in financial markets starts to spread. And so this is just capital or money looking for a place of safety. Where is it going to go? It's going to go to the U.S. dollar. That's the most stable thing out there. So easy credit, absurdly low interest rates of the last decade have encouraged debt, gorging on debt across villages, hamlets, towns, cities, and nations around the world. Financial prosperity is ending, and the day of judgment is coming as the servicing of the debt now starting to come due. So it's affecting prosperity. Creditors are looking for repayment. They want their money back. And emerging markets rely heavily on debt to finance schools, airports, roads, water, sanitation, and all the infrastructure in place in modern countries. Further, emerging markets rely heavily on foreign investment for capital to build retail, restaurants, and housing. When local currencies start to decline against the dollar, these pools of capital start leaving, causing a liquidity problem for local governments and eventually a loss in confidence which can quickly and adversely affect changes. So they know their currency is not as valuable, and so they want to put it in a place of strength, which is the U.S. dollar. And purchasing power is declining. Now, once this gets started, it's hard to stop. And dictator presidential decrees do not work. And here's a chart, emerging market currency chart. This is from JP Morgan. Michael provided this. So, nations are no different than families. Each has a line of credit. Using credit to enjoy today is always at the expense of tomorrow, maybe at the expense of lots of tomorrows. So eventually credit lines are spent. You might get an extension or two that will postpone the inevitable, but at some point you got to pay the piper, pay the debt. And just like families, nations can only service so much debt, and then something has to change. Families declare bankruptcy or a foreclosure. Nations default. But before there's a default, plans have to be made for the continuation of government and services. And this is done by securing funding from other sources that would not have been previously considered. Desperation changes things. So Turkey's running out of credit, and they're not going to accept the constraints imposed by the IMF or International Money Fund, or creditor banks have received, but they've taken some money, emergency $15 billion from Qatar. The debt must be addressed while the Turkish economy and currency is quickly declining, creating a very difficult situation. So they've turned to Russia and China for funding. Turkey will be able to default on its current debt before they go toward Russia and China for further money. So money is flying out of Turkey, and lots of people see the writing on the wall. So what do you do about it? Turmoil's coming. Prepare for the opportunity. Could impact stocks and bonds around the world. Eliminate debt. Create personal reserves. Stockpile medicine, food, water, personal cash. Keep it on hand. The financial asset cycle is ending. Real assets will rise. So like commodities, agriculture, mining, minerals, lumber, copper, oil, aluminum, etc. Should accumulate. Very conservative real estate houses should do well. So prepare, time to change, time to prepare for the next opportunity. So currently, economic sanctions and a strong U.S. dollar are crippling currencies of Russia, Turkey, and Iran. All these countries are feeling an economic monetary squeeze. Now, prophetically, the reason for the invasion of Israel from the north, what's north of Israel is Russia, and Turkey appears to be economic. Israel is a prosperous country. And so you look at Ezekiel 38, verse 13, Sheba and Dedan and the merchants of Tarshish and all its leaders will say to you, and that's in reference to Russia, Turkey, and Iran, have you come to seize spoil? Have you assembled your hosts to carry off plunder, to carry away silver and gold, to take away livestock and goods, to seize great spoil? So the question gets to be, is now this time? Now it's looking more and more like it with each passing day, but that remains to be seen. Will Turkey align with Russia? God's prophet Ezekiel says emphatically, yes. So keep your eye on this. This is going to impact world geopolitics, and ultimately, if this is the time, there it is. There's what the Bible says about it. So take those things into consideration and do your own homework. So if you're interested in this blog and in this post, click over here on the blue block, or also you could fill in your email address and receive a post every time something new goes out. I don't sell the information or the emails, so no problem there. And then also, if you're interested in specific categories, go over here to the far right column. You can look at stuff on the Antichrist, Burden of Damascus, things about creation, Christmas, whatever your topic is, different countries in Bible prophecy, things in the current news that are consistent with what the prophets of the ancient times, you're looking 700 to 1,000 years before Christ. So some of this stuff's 2,500, 3,000 years old. Arguably, we're seeing it being fulfilled in our time. So appreciate you guys following along. Take care. Have a great day.